Hello viewers, welcome to City Report. Today we are gonna explore state New York. Let's get started. New York is a state in the mid-Atlantic and northeastern region of the United States. It was one of the original 13 colonies forming the United States. With a total area of 54,556 square miles, New York is the 27th largest state. Its population of more than 19 million people as of 2020 makes it the fourth most populous state in the US. The state is bordered by New Jersey and Pennsylvania to the south and Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Vermont to the east. It has a maritime border with the Rhode Island east of Long Island, as well as an international border with the Canadian provinces of Quebec to the north and Ontario to the northwest. The first permanent immigration depot in New York was established in 1855 at Castle Garden, a converted War of 1812 era fort located within what is now Battery Park at the tip of Lower Manhattan. The first immigrants to arrive at the new depot were aboard three ships that had just been released from quarantine. In contrast with New York City's urban landscape, the vast majority of the state's geographic area is dominated by meadows, forests, rivers, farms, mountains, and lakes. Most of the southern part of the state rests on Allegheny Plateau, which extends from the southernest United States to the Catskill Mountains. The section in the New York State is known as the Southern Tier. The rugged Adirondack Mountains, with vast tract of wilderness, lie west of the Lake Champlain Valley. The Great Appalachian Valley dominates eastern New York and contains Lake Champlain Valley as its northern half and the Hudson Valley as its southern half within the state. Let's talk about top 15 places you must visit in New York. Number 15. Shelter Island. Shelter Island is a town and island at the eastern end of Long Island in the US state of New York. It is part of Suffolk County, although it is separated from the rest of the county by water. The population was 2,392 at the 2010 census. Shelter Island is nestled between the north and south forks of Long Island. It is surrounded on the three sides by Shelter Island Sound and on the fourth side by Gardiner Bay. It can be reached via ferry from Greenport to the north or from North Haven to the south. New York State Route 114 runs through the island. Shelter Island is around 8,000 acres, that is 32 kilometers square in size. Vast tracts are protected wetlands, a nature preserve marshland. Nearly one-third of the island is owned by the Nature Conservancy to be preserved in a wild state. The preserve has 4 nature and bird watching trails varying in length from 1.5 miles, that is 2.4 kilometers, to 11 miles, that is 18 kilometers, as well as a barrier-free braille trail for the visual impaired. Number 14. Ithaca. Ithaca is a city and college town in the Finger Lakes region of New York, United States. It is seat of Tompkins County, as well as the largest community in the Ithaca-Tompkins County metropolitan area. This area contains the municipalities of the town of Ithaca, the village of Cayuga Heights, and other towns and villages in Tompkins County. The city of Ithaca is located on the southern shore of Cayuga Lake in the central New York, about 45 miles, that is 72 kilometers, southwest of Syracuse. It is named after the Greek island of Ithaca. For decades, the Ithaca Gun Company tested their shotguns behind the plant on Lake Street. The shot fell into the Fall Creek Gorge at the base of Ithaca Falls. Lead accumulated in the soil in and around the factory and gorge. Ithaca was found on flat land just south of the lake land that formed in fairly recent geological times when silt filled the southern end of the lake. The city ultimately spread to the adjacent hillside, which rise several hundred feet above the central flats, East Hill, West Hill, and South Hill. There are 2 governmental entities in the area, the town of Ithaca and the city of Ithaca. The town of Ithaca is one of the 9 towns comprising Tompkins County. The city of Ithaca is surrounded by but legally independent of the town. Number 13. Thousand Islands. The Thousand Islands constitute a North American archipelago of 1,864 islands that straddles the Canada-US border in the St. Lawrence River as it emerges from the northeast corner of Lake Ontario. They stretch for about 50 miles downstream from Kingston, Ontario. The Canadian islands are in the province of Ontario and the US islands in the state of New York. The islands range in size from over 40 square miles to smaller islands occupied by a single residence or uninhabited outcroppings of rocks. To count as one of the 1,000 islands, emergent land within the river channel must have at least 1 square foot of land above water level year round and support at least 2 living trees. The Thousand Islands archipelago is at the outlet of Lake Ontario at the head of St. Lawrence River. The region is bisected by the Canada-United States border and covers portion of Jefferson and the St. Lawrence counties in the US state of New York. Prior to European colonization, the Thousand Islands region was home to or visited by members of the Iroquois Confederacy and Ojibwa people. Their name for the islands was Manichuana or the Garden of the Great Spirit. The Thousand Islands have long been a center for recreational boating. Large steam yacht, many designed by Nathaniel Hirschoff, required distinctive yacht houses. The region was known also for innovative powerboating during this period. 3 local yacht clubs hosted the Gold Cup races of the American Powerboat Association for 9 consecutive years. One of the few beaches in the Thousand Islands, Potter's Beach on the American Grindstone Island, has a fine, shallow, sandy bottom with a very gradual slope and serves as a location for boats to set anchor and spend a day at the beach or hiking on the trails that extend around Grindstone Island. A popular location for swimming or anchoring out of the wind, the Lake of the Isles is a secluded area cut off from the rest of the St. Lawrence River by Wellesley Island and neighboring Canadian Hill Island. Number 12. Cooperstown. Cooperstown is a village in and county seat of Otsego County, New York, United States. Most of the village lies within the town of Otsego, but some of the eastern part is in the town of Middlefield. Located at the foot of Otsego Lake in the central New York region, Cooperstown is approximately 60 miles west of Albany, 67 miles southeast of Syracuse, and 145 miles northwest of New York City. The population of the village was 1,852 as of the 2010 census. Cooperstown is best known as the home of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. The Farmers Museum opened in 1944 on farmland that had once belonged to James Fenimore Cooper. The Fenimore Art Museum, Glimmerglass Opera, and the New York State Historical Association are also based here. Most of the historic pre-1900s core of the village is included in the Cooperstown Historic District, which was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1980. Cooperstown has a humid continental climate with cold, very snowy winter, warm summers, and abundant precipitation year-round. Freezing temperatures have been observed in every month of the year, except for July. The record low temperature is minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit, set on February 9, 1934, and the record high temperature is 99 Fahrenheit, set on July 9 and 10, 1936. Number 11. Letchworth State Park. Letchworth State Park is a 14,427-acre New York State Park located in Livingston County and Wyoming County in the northwestern part of the state of New York. The park is roughly 17 miles long, following the course of the Genesee River as it flows north through a deep gorge and over several large waterfalls. It is located 35 miles southwest of Rochester and 60 miles southeast of Buffalo, and the spans portion of the Livingston County towns of Leicester, Mount Morris, and Portage, as well as the Wyoming County towns of Castile and Genesee Falls. Park entrances are located near Mount Morris, Perry, Castile, and Portageville. A paved 2 or 3 lane road follows the west side of the gorge, allowing many scenic viewpoints for the geologic features. The park includes pavilions, picnic tables, playgrounds, 66 miles of hiking trails, 2 large swimming pools, cabins, campsites for tents, trailer sites with dumping stations, and horse riding trails. Activities within the park include hiking, biking, fishing, whitewater rafting, and hunting. During the winter, the park facilities snowmobiling, cross country skiing, snow tubing, and horse drawn slide. Hot air ballooning is available at the park, weather permitting. Within the park, there are 3 large waterfalls on the Genesee River and as many as 50 waterfalls found on tributaries that flow into it. The deep gorge formed by the river, with rock walls rising up to 550 feet in places and which narrow to 400 feet across above the middle of the 3 falls, prompted the area's reputation as the Grand Canyon of the East. The 3 major waterfalls, called the Upper, Middle, and Lower Falls, are located in Portage Canyon, the southern section of the park. The only trail bridging the Genesee River in the park crosses a stone bridge just below the lower falls. Number 10. Syracuse. Syracuse is a city in and the county seat of Onondaga County, New York, United States. It is 5th most populous city in the state of New York, following New York City, Buffalo, Rochester, and Yonkers. At the 2010 census, the city population was 1,45,252 and its metropolitan area had a population of 6,62,577. It is this economic and educational hub of central New York, a region with over 1 million inhabitants. Syracuse is also well provided with convention sites with a downtown convention complex. Syracuse was named after the classical Greek city Syracuse, a city on the eastern coast of the Italian island of Sicily. The city has functioned as a major crossroads over the last 2 centuries, first between the Erie Canal and its branch canals, then of the railway network. Today, Syracuse is at the intersection of Interstates 81 and 90. Its airport is the largest in the region. Syracuse is home to Syracuse University, a major research university. Syracuse's main water source is Skaneateles Lake, one of the country's cleanest lake, located 24 km southwest of the city. Water from nearby Onondaga Lake is not potable due to industrial dumping that spanned many decades, leaving the lake heavily polluted. Incoming water is left unfiltered and chlorine is added to prevent bacterial growth. Syracuse has a humid continental climate and is known for its high snowfall. Boasting 2.94 meters on average, Syracuse receives the most annual average snow of any metropolitan area in the United States. Syracuse usually wins the Golden Snowball Award among upstate cities. Most Christians in Syracuse are Catholic, reflecting the influence of 19th and early 20th century immigration patterns, when numerous Irish, German, Italian, and Eastern European Catholics settled in the city. The city has the Roman Catholic Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. Number 9. Long Island. Long Island is a densely populated island in the southeast part of the US state of New York in northeastern United States. At New York Harbor, it is approximately 0.35 miles from the Manhattan Island and extends eastward over 100 miles into the Atlantic Ocean. The island comprises 4 counties, Kings and Queens counties and Nassau County share the western third of the island, while Suffolk County occupies the eastern 2/3. More than half of the New York City's residents live on Long Island, in Brooklyn, and in Queens. North of the island is Long Island Sound, across which lie Westchester County, New York, and the state of Connecticut. Across the Block Island Sound to the northeast is the state of Rhode Island. To the west, Long Island is separated from the Bronx and the island of Manhattan by the East River tidal estuary. With the census estimated population of 7,869,820 in 2017, constituting nearly 40% of New York State's population, Long Island is the most populated island in any US state or territory and the 18th most populous island in the world. Its population density is 5,595.1 inhabitants per square mile, that is 2,160.3 kilometers square. Charles Lindbergh lifted off from Roosevelt Field with his Spirit of St. Louis for his historic 1927 solo flight to Europe, one of the events that helped to establish Long Island as an early center of aviation during the 20th century. Other famous aviators such as Willie Post originated notable flights from Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn, which became the first major airport serving New York City before it was superseded by the opening of LaGuardia Airport in 1939. Long Island lies in a transition zone between a humid subtropical climate and a hot summer humid continental climate. The climate features hot, usually humid summers with occasional thunderstorms, mild spring and fall weather. Spring can be cool due to the relatively cooler temperature of the Atlantic Ocean and occasional blocking. Number 8. Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs is a city in Saratoga County, New York, United States. The population was 26,586 at the 2010 census. The name reflects the presence of mineral springs in the area, which has made Saratoga a popular resort destination for over 200 years. It is home to Saratoga Racecourse, a thoroughbred horse racing track, and Saratoga Performing Arts and Art Center, a music and dance venue. The city's official slogan is Health, History, and Horses. According to United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 29.1 square miles, of which 28.4 square miles, that is 74 kilometers square, is land and 0.6 square miles, that is 2.17%, is water. The British-built Fort Saratoga is 1691 on the west bank of the Hudson River. Shortly thereafter, British colonists settled this current village of Cheneville about a mile south. It was known as Saratoga until 1831. Before racing began in Saratoga, the area's natural mineral springs had been attracting wealthy families for many decades. The spring occur on a line where the north-south Saratoga Fault allows water trapped in subsurface shale layers to reach the surface. Saratoga Springs relies heavily on tourism as its main source of income during the summer season, while the Saratoga Racecourse is open. Some museums you can visit in Saratoga are as follows. Number 7. Rochester. Rochester is a city in the US state of New York, the seat of Monroe County, and the third most populous in the state after New York City and Buffalo, with an estimated population of 205,695 in 2020. The city of Rochester forms the core of much larger metropolitan area with a population of around 1.1 million people across 6 counties. Rochester was one of the United States' first boom towns, initially due to fertile Genesee River Valley, which gave it rise to numerous flour mills, and then as a manufacturing center which spurred further rapid population growth. The city rose to prominence as the birthplace and home of some of America's most iconic companies, in particular Eastern Kodak, Xerox, and Bausch and Lomb, by which the region became a global center for science, technology, and research and development. The Rochester metropolitan area is the third largest regional economy in New York after the New York City metropolitan area and the Buffalo-Niagara Falls metropolitan area. Rochester's gross metropolitan product is US $50.6 billion, above those of Albany and Syracuse, but below that of Buffalo. Rochester is also known for its culture, in particular its music culture. Institutions such as the Eastman School of Music and the Rochester International Jazz Festival anchor and vibrant music industry, ranked as one of the top 10 music scenes in the US in terms of the concentration of musicians and music-related businesses. In the early 20th century, Rochester became a center of garment industry, particularly men's fashions. It was the base of Bound Clothing Store, Fashion Park Clothes, Hickey Freeman, and Steen Bloch and co-carriage maker James Cunningham and Sons founded the pioneer automobile company Cunningham. According to United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 37.1 square miles, of which 35.8 square miles, that is 93 kilometers square, are land and 1.3 square miles are covered by water, that is 3.42%. Here are some places you must visit in Rochester. Number 6. Fire Island. Fire Island is the large center island of the Outer Barrier Islands, parallel to the south shore of Long Island, New York. Occasionally, the name is used to refer collectively to not only the Center Island but also Long Beach Barrier Island, Jones Beach Island, and Westhampton Island, since the straits which separate these islands are ephemeral. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy once again divided Fire Island into two islands. Together, these two islands are approximately 31 miles long and vary between 520 and 1,310 feet wide. Fire Island is part of Suffolk County. It lies within the towns of Babylon, Islip, and Brookhaven, containing two villages and number of hamlets. Fire Island lies on average 3.9 miles off the south shore of Long Island but nearly touches it along the east end. It is separated from the Long Island by Great South Bay, which spans interconnected bays along Long Island: Patchogue Bay, Belport Bay, Narrow Bay, and Mauritius Bay. Fire Island's population varies seasonally. Housing is mostly stick-built bungalow style with generous helping of bamboo. Some are beachfront built on the dunes of Atlantic Ocean, while others are on boardwalks or concrete walks like a miniaturized city. For year-round residents, there are schools, churches, shops, and even a school bus service to the mainland of Long Island via an off-road modified school bus. Fire Island's unique location and constantly changing geography play a major role in the protection of its citizens. Although it is served by 10 fire departments and 2 police departments, the seasonal residency and remote driving distance are a challenge to the public safety community. Because there are no roads on inhabited Fire Island, fire department vehicles are heavily modified 4-wheel drive with suspension lifts, large diameter off-road tires, and recovery equipment, which allow them to traverse the sometimes washed out loose sand. Number 5. Finger Lakes. The Finger Lakes are a group of 11 long, narrow, roughly north-south lakes in an area informally called the Finger Lakes region in New York, in the United States. The region straddles the northern and transitional edge, known as Finger Lakes, uplands and gorges ecoregion of the northern Allegheny Plateau and the Ontario lowlands ecoregion of the Great Lakes lowlands. The geological term Finger Lake refers to a long, narrow lake in an over-deepened glacial valley, while the proper name Finger Lakes goes back to the late 19th century. Cayuga and Seneca Lakes are among the deepest in the United States, measuring 435 feet and 618 feet respectively, with bottoms well below sea level. The origin of the name Finger Lakes is uncertain. Currently, the oldest known published use of Finger Lakes for this group of 11 lakes is in a United States Geological Survey paper by Thomas Chamberlain that was published in 1883. The 11 Finger Lakes from east to west are as follows. These glacial Finger Lakes originated as a series of northward flowing streams. Around 2 million years ago, the first of many continental glaciers of the Laurentide ice sheet moved southward from the Hudson Bay area, initiating the Pleistocene glaciation. The Finger Lakes region, together with the Genesee County of western New York, has been referred to as Burn-Over District. There in the 19th century, the Second Great Awakening was a revival of Christianity. Some new religions were also formed. The Finger Lakes region is home to several museums. These include the Corning Museum of Glass, the Johnson Museum of Art at Cornell University, the Strong National Museum of Play, the Glen H. Curtis Museum, the Finger Lake Boating Museum, the Wings of Eagles Discovery Center, the Science Center, the Museum of the Earth, the National Soaring Museum, the Rockwell Museum, the Seward House Museum, the William H. Seward, and the Samuel Warren Homesteads of the New York Historical Society, birthplace of New York State's first successful commercial winery. Number 4. Catskill Mountain. The Catskill Mountains, also known as the Catskills, are a physiographic province of the larger Appalachian Mountains located in southeastern New York. As a culture and geographic region, the Catskills are generally defined as those areas close to or within the borders of the Catskill Park, a 7 lakh-acre forest preserve, forever protected from many forms of development under New York state law. Geologically, the Catskills are a mature, dissected plateau, a flat region subsequently uplifted and eroded into sharp relief by watercourses. The Catskill from the northeastern end of the Allegheny Plateau. While the meaning of the name and the namer are settled matters, how and why the area is named Catskill is a mystery. Mountain lions, catamounts, were known to have been in the area when the Dutch area arrived in the 17th century and may have been reason for the name. The confusion over the origins of the name led over the years to variant spellings such as Catskill and Catterskill, both of which are also still used, the former in the regional magazine Catskill Life, the latter as the name of mountain peak and a waterfall. The Catskill Mountains are located approximately 100 miles northwest of New York City and 40 miles southwest of Albany, starting west of Hudson River. The Catskills occupy much of two counties and extended slightly into Delaware, Sullivan, and southwestern Scurry counties. Road and mountain bicycling are fairly popular in the range. Bicycle racing includes the Tour of Catskill, a 3-day road stage race held in Greene and Ulster counties each summer, and the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup in Windham. Within the range is Catskill Park, comprising over 7 lakh acres. Catskill Park is part of New York's Forest Preserve. Not all the land is publicly owned. About 60% remains in private hands, but new sections are added frequently. Most of the park and the preserve are within Ulster County, with a significant portion in Greene County. Number 3. Adirondack Mountains. The Adirondack Mountains form a massif in northeastern New York, United States. Its boundaries correspond roughly to the boundaries of Adirondack Park. They cover about 5,000 square miles. The mountains form a roughly circular dome about 160 miles, that is 260 km, in diameter and about 1 mile high. The current relief owes much to glaciation. There are more than 200 lakes around the mountains, including Lake George, Lake Placid, and Lake Tear of the Clouds, which is the source of Hudson River. The Adirondack region is also home to hundreds of mountain summits, with some reaching height of 5,000 feet or more. The word Adirondack is thought to come from the Mohawk word Hadironda, meaning eastern of trees, meaning eater of trees. The earliest written use of the name spelled Rontex. Humans have lived in the region of the Adirondack Mountains since the Paleo-Indian period, shortly after the last ice age. The first group to move into the area came south from the St. Lawrence River Valley and settled along the shore of Champlain Sea around 13,000 BC. The Adirondack Mountains, from the southernmost part of the eastern forest belt transition ecoregion. They are heavily forested and contain one of the southernmost distribution taiga in North America. The forests of the Adirondacks include spruce, pine, and deciduous trees. Lumbering, once an important industry, has been much restricted by the creation of the park. The summer climate is cooler than the rest of New York State in the Adirondack due to higher elevation. Number 2. Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a city in Niagara County, New York, United States. As of the 2010 census, the city had a total population of 50,193, down from the 55,593 recorded in the 2000 census. It is adjacent to the Niagara River, across from the city of Niagara Falls, Ontario, and named after the famed Niagara Falls which they shared. The city is within the Buffalo, Niagara Falls metropolitan statistical area and the western New York region. Niagara Falls is at the international boundary between the United States of America and Canada. The city is within the Buffalo, Niagara Falls metropolitan area and is approximately 16 miles from Buffalo, New York. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has an area of 16.8 square miles. Of that, 14.1 square miles of it is land and 2.8 square miles of it, 16.37%, is water. The city is built along the Niagara Falls and the Niagara Gorge, which is next to the Niagara River. The city is home to Niagara Falls State Park. The park has several attractions, including Cave of the Winds behind the Bridal Veil Falls, Maid of the Mist, a popular boat tour which operates at the foot of the Rainbow Bridge, Prospect Point and its observation tower, Niagara Discovery Center, Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center, and the Aquarium of Niagara. Several other attractions also near the river, including Whirlpool State Park, the Vaux Woods State Park, Earl W. Bridges Art Park State Park in nearby Lewiston, New York, and the Fort Niagara State Park in Youngstown, New York. Attractions in downtown include the Seneca Niagara Casino and Hotel and Pine Avenue, which was historically home to a large Italian-American population and is now known as Little Italy for its abundance of shops and quality restaurants. Niagara Falls is primarily served by the Buffalo Niagara International Airport for regional and domestic flights within the United States. The recently expanded Niagara Falls International Airport serves the city and many cross-border travelers with flights to Myrtle Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and Punta Gorda. Number 1. New York City. New York City, often called simply New York, is the most populous city in the United States, with an estimated 2019 population of 83,36,817 distributed over about 302.6 square miles. New York City is also the most densely populated major city in the United States, located at the southern tip of the state of New York. The city is the center of the New York metropolitan area, the largest metropolitan area in the world by urban landmass, with almost 20 million people in the metropolitan statistical area and approximately 23 million in its combined statistical area. It is one of the world's most populous megacities. New York City has been described as the cultural, financial, and media capital of the world, significantly influencing commerce, entertainment, research, technology, education, politics, tourism, art, fashion, and sports, and it is most photographed city in the world. Home to the headquarters of the United Nations, New York is an important center of international diplomacy. Situated on one of the world's largest natural harbors, New York City is composed of 5 boroughs, each of which is county of the state of New York. The 5 boroughs: Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island. In 1664, the city was named in honor of the Duke of York, who would become King James II of England. James' older brother, King Charles II, appointed the Duke proprietor of the former territory of New Netherland, including the city of New Amsterdam, when England seized it from the Dutch. During the Wisconsin glaciation, 75,000 to 11,000 years ago, the New York City area was situated at the edge of a large ice sheet over 2,000 feet in depth. The erosive forward movement of the ice contributed to the separation of what is now Long Island and Staten Island. The city of New York has a complex park system with various lands operated by the National Park Service, the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation, and the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. New York City's most important economic sector lies in its role as the headquarters for the US financial industry, metonymously known as Wall Street. the city's securities industries, enumerating 163,400 jobs in August 2013, continues to form the largest segment of the city's financial sector and an important economic engine, accounting in 2012 for 5% of the city's private sector jobs, 8.5% that is $3.8 billion of its tax revenue, and 22% of the city's total wages, including an average salary of $360,700. Silicon Alley, centered in Manhattan, has evolved into a metonym for the sphere encompassing the New York City metropolitan. Major tourist destinations in Manhattan includes Times Square, Broadway Theater Productions, the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, the United Nations headquarters, the World Trade Center, including the National September 11 Museum, and One World Trade Center. Museums such as the Metropolitan Museum of Art, green spaces such as Central Park and Washington Square Park, the Stonewall Inn, Rockefeller Center, ethnic enclaves including the Manhattan, Chinatown, Koreatown, Curry Hill, Harlem, Spanish Harlem, Little Italy, and Little Australia, luxury shopping along 5th and Madison Avenues, and events such as the Halloween Parade in Greenwich Village, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, seasonal activities such as ice skating in Central Park in the wintertime, the Tribeca Film Festival, and a free performance in Central Park at Summer Stage. This was all about State New York. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit like button and do share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Meet you in next video.